Hello and welcome to day 173, Becoming Peace, Meditation and Inspiration. The name of today's session is Being Present with Negative Emotions. In today's session, we're going to spend some time learning how to sit with the emotions we usually have a tendency to try to avoid and push to the bottom of the swimming pool. Avoiding negative emotions only makes them fester. So today's session is going to be super important in learning what to do with feelings that are painful. In this exercise, I'll show you how mindfulness can help you become however you want to be, rather than simply reacting to the stressors of work, news, and responsibilities. By now, you're probably feeling a little more comfortable with mindfulness practice. And you may also feel the potential of what mindfulness can do for you. For example, what would it be like if you weren't worried about work or your mortgage? Or feeling overwhelmed all the time, or feeling tired from all of your chores? What if, instead of feeling overwhelmed, bored, or stressed, you were able to step back and say, "Oh, okay, that's overwhelm," or "Oh, okay, that's worry. Okay, that's just stress. I got this." Rather than saying, "I am stressed," rather than feeling as though you're in the middle of it all, instead, just recognizing that, okay, that's a thought or that's a feeling. For some of you, that may sound weird or crazy woo-woo, and you may well think, "Yeah, but you don't know my crazy situation." And you're right, I don't. But remember, it's really important to see that this practice of mindfulness takes time for change to happen. But change does happen. For people who are successful at what they do, it's a habit of a lifetime, or at least a habit of a good few years. We're not just talking about doing better at work or feeling less stressed. This is about living on your own terms. This is about choosing how awake and present you want to be for the life you're living right now. This is about enhancing your presence, your wisdom, your compassion, and your effect on the world inside of you and outside of you to the absolute best of your ability. How do you want to be when you're older? Mindful. Every time you realize you're distracted and you're taking the time to acknowledge it, something is changing, not only in thoughts and consciousness, but also in the brain itself. If you experience stress, overwhelm, or anxiety a lot, then it'll be really uncomfortable, and you probably want to get as far away from it as possible, and that's understandable. But it's also really important to acknowledge that you can't stop anxiety. Everyone's tried. It doesn't work. So, what you can do is develop a different type of relationship to it, where you eventually feel at ease with it and potentially can even start to embrace it as a way of further understanding the mind. So as you move through your day today, remember that idea of being aware, simply being aware, being present for the sensations in the body. Whenever you remember to do this, it's quite an amazing thing because all of a sudden you're actually present. Again, it's as though you can cut the negative feedback loop. You step out of the loop of thinking, which fuels the emotions of stress and overwhelm. And instead, you're actually present with your body and what you're doing. On the one hand, it's a very ordinary feeling. And yet on the other hand, it's an extraordinary feeling because we experience it so rarely. Just remembering to be present, simply being aware. Excellent. And well done. So, let's recap. If you experience stress, overwhelm, or anxiety a lot, then it'll be really uncomfortable. And you probably want to get as far away from it as possible. And remember, that's understandable. But it's also really important to acknowledge that you cannot stop anxiety. Everyone's tried it, and it doesn't work. But we're recapping that what you can do is develop a different type of relationship to it, where you eventually feel at ease with it, and potentially can even start to embrace it as a way of further understanding your mind. So, for just a few moments, we're going to sit with it. I want you to think of something that creates a little anxiety in your mind and your heart as you start to conjure up those thoughts. Is it your work? Is it a situation with a family member? Does the anxiety, is it surrounded by money or just a task that you have not yet finished? So let's together in this safe space, just sit with it. Sit with the anxiety. See it before you in your mind's eye. Take some deep breaths. Don't try to push it off. Just sit with it. And I'm going to mind the time until you hear a soft bell. And don't worry, it won't be long. Okay, let's come back. How did that feel? Sometimes I think that we create big, scary monsters in our mind when, it is anxiety. It is something we're not looking forward to. It's a situation that's not pleasant, but it's often a lot more large in our imagination than what it feels like to just sit with it. And as you sit with it, it starts to neutralize naturally. So as you move through your day today, remember that idea of being aware. Just simply being aware of what you're experiencing and being present for the sensations in your body. I hope some of this has been useful to you. And I want to thank you for showing up today. Thank you for being willing to practice mindfulness and being aware in this moment. I am going to invite you to share this session with someone you love. And remember to take in more light today than you did yesterday, just a little bit more. I'm going to be here tomorrow, and I hope you are too. Bye for now.